The question about differences between Docker and virtual machines is asked quite often on software engineering interviews. In today's video, I will be explaining the main differences and how to answer that question. Let me explain you what is Docker. Docker allows you to test, build, and deploy applications. It runs on top of your host operating system and shares resources with it and its kernel. Remember that. Then, Docker packages your software inside a container and runs a software inside each container. Each container contains only the software that needs to be run, including libraries, system tools, code, and runtime environment variables. Each container runs independently from it, and if by any chance you edit, for example, app A, then it does not have any effect on app B. Now, what is virtual machine? Virtual machine is abstraction of the physical hardware. It uses hypervisors to manage other virtual machines. And then each virtual machine includes its own operating system. Here you can see the infrastructure, this is the hardware, and then the hypervisor on it that is used to run different virtual machines. And then we have virtual machine 1, 2, and 3. And then each machine has its own operating system. I'll name them OS1, OS2, OS3. On each operating system, you have a running application. Here you can see app A, B, and C. But what's more special with virtual machines that you can run more than one application. For example, you can have application D, E, F, and so on. And then if you make some changes in this environment, it can affect the other application. This is what makes virtual machines and containers different. Now let's compare main differences between Docker and virtual machines side by side. Let's start with Docker. Docker is a platform which is used to create and run Docker containers that contains only the application needed libraries and files. Containers shares resources with the underlying host operating system's kernel, which means that Docker containers are lightweight and fast to start, and the level of isolation is process level of isolation, which means that if I change something inside a container, it won't affect the other application that run in other containers or run on the host operating system. Meanwhile, virtual machines are emulation of physical machine. In other words, they are abstraction of a hardware. They use hypervisor technology to manage different operating systems and has its own kernel. Virtual machine requires more resources in order to start and be deployed on a server, but has a higher level of isolation, which means that it's better for security. Here, the only thing we need to be careful is that if we change something inside the virtual machine's operating system, it might affect other applications that run inside this operating system. And these were main differences between Docker and virtual machines. If this video was helpful to you, please like it and leave a comment.